Welcome back to Stacy So and So. Thank you for joining me again this week. Welcome to all the new subscribers. I'm so glad you guys are all here. So this week I'm going to be doing a new denim upcycle, or maybe I should call it a denim refashion. One of my mutuals on TikTok, she always finds the coolest vintage clothes. I forget what state she's in, but she must be surrounded by absolutely fabulous vintage and thrift stores. She always has the coolest stuff. This past week, she did a video showing jeans that were a brand called Billy Blues, and I remember them, and I thought these jeans were so cool in the 90s. I never owned a pair. I don't know why. I wish I had. But anyway, I was like, oh my God, I love those. And I thought, oh my gosh, I think I have everything in my stash to make these. And I know, as always, I have a pair of blue jeans that I can upcycle. So let me show you what I'm going to be planning for today. And hopefully it'll serve as some inspiration. We can all make some cool 90s vintage style blue jeans. Okay, so here are the jeans that I'm going to be upcycling. I got them at our local thrift store, Heart Hand, I don't know, for about $5 maybe, if that. Now, they do have a couple of stains up here on them, but I think I'm just going to find a creative way to cover those up. Haven't decided what just yet, but this is a process. So these are, what are they? They were Lee's Classic Fit. So I think these are going to work out really well, and they're really nice and soft and worn in. Now, the Billy Blues jeans, that style, they were you could get them as an ankle length, or like a capri length. So I'm definitely going to be cutting these off, and then they would replace that bottom half. They used sari material. I don't have any of that, but let me show you what I do have, and I think it's going to work great. So this is some material that I've had this in my stash. I could not tell you how long. Actually, this piece I may have had since the 90s. Isn't that beautiful? So I have this fabric, and I also have this. I purchased about a year ago, and I did a upcycle denim jacket with it for American Heart Association, and they used it as a raffle piece. And I had quite a bit left over. So I have this, which is also beautiful. Look at all of the colors in that. And I also have the tan golden version of this. Isn't that pretty? I haven't used this for anything yet. And it's the colors, everything in it are beautiful. So then I kept digging through my stash because I thought, what else do I have that kind of coordinates with this? And I found this trim. There we go. This is from my mom. She bought it and used it. She had done, reworked a pair of capris and wanted to put some trim at the bottom. And she had a bunch of this left over, so she gave it to me. So I think we're going to use that as well. So I guess the first thing I need to do is try my jeans on and kind of figure out how far up I need to cut them. And then we'll start adding some rows of all of these fabrics. Okay, so after trying them on, I put a pin in, and it looks like we're at about 8.5 inches. All right, go ahead and put that at 8.5, and we'll do the same on this side. All right, so now we can I'm just going to cut them straight across. I'll save this bottom half for other projects. I want my jeans to come to like at my ankle. So I'll be careful about how much of the satin that I add to it. Okay, now it's time for the fun part. Okay, so I had to step away from my denim upcycle project for just a couple of days. If you saw my video short that I put out asking a question about fabric for them, I had sent that out on 2 other platforms as well, and I was wanting to see the feedback. And the reason I did that was I love this fabric. I love this version, the tan, because I'm using the red. I love that, and I love this trim. But it just wasn't feeling right with the other colors. So I decided just to step away and kind of think about it a little bit and ask some other people what they thought. So I finally made a decision on which fabrics I'm going to use. So let me show you real quick. These are what I've decided to go with. Now, my original question for those who didn't see my short was, looking at these 2 stripes, does it look like I'm using the wrong side of the fabric? And the overwhelming consensus was, no, that fabric's beautiful on both sides. So this is the reverse side of this. But it works. I think this just works much better. When I had decided to get rid of the beige, I was also thinking about what other kind of trim do I have? And I forgot I had this in my stash. It has all of the colors in it. And I love it right up next to the denim, and it just blends in perfectly. So now, I'm ready to move forward. Okay, so I've got my strips all cut out. A lot of people ask me why I have a lighter that I keep on my sewing table. Let me show you why. Especially with this kind of material that just, as you can see, the wispies hanging off the end, it frays really bad, but if you add heat to it, it just kind of barely melts the end. So I'm going to do that to each of these strips, even though I'm going to sew them with my serger, just to be safe. Okay, so I got them all sewn, well, serged together, but the next thing that needs to be done is pressing and then top stitching all of these rows down. I have to think about what color thread I'm going to use on each row. Once I get that done, I will go ahead and attach this to the bottom of the jean. Actually, it's going to go this way. Once I finish that, I will then attach this over top. I don't want to lose the border off either side, so I will simply just top stitch that over top like that. Okay, so they look really good now that they've been pressed. I decided to go with black thread, and I'm going to try to get as close to the edge as possible and just run a top stitch right along that edge. Oh yeah, that's going to look great. Okay, all done. The top stitching made a huge difference. It's subtle, but it definitely improved the look. Okay, so since I had actually made these longer than they needed to be, I need to cut them down. So I just measured across here and then doubled it, plus a little extra for seam allowance. And for these, it ended up being 20 inches. So now I will serge this together and then do the same as I did on this leg and go ahead and pin right sides together, and I'll be ready to attach. So far, so good. Okay, been attached. I love the way they look, although we're not quite done yet. I'm going to definitely give this all a really good press, and then I'm going to top stitch right along this very top one, just so that everything lays nicer. And then once I'm done with that, I will sew this all the way around And then final for this part of the project, whoops, more threads, there we go. I'm just going to give this a very narrow hem. Now, the other thing I was thinking about, because I had a little bit that I had to trim off of this, and I kept the pieces, because I'm like, I hate to throw things away. And so, you know how I had the stains up here on these jeans? And I couldn't get it out. I even tried that great stain remover I got from Wawak. Even that didn't work. So, these are permanent. So what I'm thinking is that maybe I should put it this way, because I also have, where did it go? I might do that. And then eventually, if I want, I might also do some the Shishiko style embroidering on them. But I think I would start with this, and then I'll add another patch over here, even though there's not a stain. I might add one like right about here, or maybe I should. Oh, here we go with that. And then I have another one. And add one on this side. Okay, it is something to think about. We're done. Here's a little close-up. Now I use the patches on here strategically to cover up the stains. Like I said, I was going to. They turned out really great. So now all that's left is for me to try them on. Are you guys ready to see? I'm really happy with the way they turned out. Here we go. So I am really happy with the way these turned out. Now, I know that the original Billy Blues jeans didn't have the patches and stuff on them, but seeing as how I could not get the stains out of these jeans, I had to come with a creative way to cover them, and so strategically placed the patches. And I think I kind of like it. It adds a little bit of just extra character to the look. And I think the only other thing I'm missing for this outfit are my old Steve Maddens. Did you guys have a pair of those? Remember the black platforms in the 90s? I think we all had, we all wore. What if they still make those? I should look, because I think that would look really good with these jeans. But we'll, I'll look. I'm definitely going to go on and do a Google search. Now, I am considering making another pair of these, but I want to make them work at pre-length. And I'm thinking instead of blue jeans, I will try doing it maybe with a pair of white or like off-white jeans. I'll have to see what I can find at our local thrift store, or maybe in my closet. I might have a pair in the closet. I'll tell you why. The beige fabric that I originally thought I was going to go with, that I changed my mind on because I didn't feel like it kind of worked cohesively with the other fabrics I had. I really like that fabric. And I made a discovery when I decided to flip that one piece of fabric and use the back side of it on these jeans. Let me show you what I found. Not only did it have the red and the green, it also has the blue, and there's a lot of blue in that beige fabric. It also has the golden yellow and the beige. So I am thinking that I'm going to need to make another pair using this. Plus I have another satin blue that I think would be really great to add to it. So we will see. I got to see if I can find the jeans first. So anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate everyone being here. I hope you feel inspired to try doing this with a pair of your jeans. I think it's just kind of a fun way to kind of just refresh stuff from your closet. I mean, it all kind of falls back on that make, do, and mend. Take what you have, upgrade it, mend it, and it feels like a new garment, and you've spent very little, if anything. I mean, you may have some of the stuff already in your stash. And there's nothing to say that you have to use like silks from saris, or, the satin that I used. I don't see why we couldn't do this with flannel or any kind of cottons. I think it could be a lot of fun. It could be fun to do a patchwork bottom. So sky's the limit. Use your imagination, use your creativity, and make something fun for yourself. So I will see you guys next week. I may be doing another denim upcycle. There is something that I feel like I need, not so much in my wardrobe, but something kind of utilitarian that I need for when I'm painting and gardening, and an apron just isn't enough. That's the only hint I'm going to give you. So until next week, happy sewing.